I'm Nita Strauss, and I'm so excited to be here today on behalf of the sessions for a very exciting interview. This is actually my first time interviewing anybody, and I'm so excited to step into Dom's incredible shoes to host today. Our guest is an incredible guitar player, one of my favorites. She's played with the biggest names in rock and pop to the Raiders games and Victoria's Secret fashion show, often imitated, never duplicated. The incredible Orianthi. How are you, babe?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm so good. I was just saying off camera how excited I am just to get to catch up with you because we've become such good friends over the years and we never get to hang out. So this is such a treat.
I know. We always like see each other in passing, or it's like some kind of event we're at, and then we're like in the darkness watching a band or something.
Watching
But
bands, just like,
we will hang out at some point. We were like when you're in LA and we're all together. Absolutely. So and you've been doing
yes,
incredible stuff like touring your butt off, and it's just so
crazy.
awesome to watch what you're doing. Honestly.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you, the same. So I want to begin at the beginning. Of course, you are from Adelaide. What is the music scene like in Adelaide, and what was your inspiration to pick up the guitar?
Music in Adelaide growing up was actually very cool. There were like so many different cover bands, playing different pubs all the time. So when I quit school when I was like 15, I joined like three of them. So I had my own and then joined two others and played acoustic, like sort of cover shows with a friend of mine. And it was definitely a big learning curve. I mean, Australian audiences, they don't hold back. If they love it, then they really show it. If they don't like the song you're playing, then they're very vocal about it. It was a really, yeah, a big learning curve for me, and just like entertaining people, picking the right songs for the evening, and it was like three sets. You'd finish up at like 3 a.m. And then when I was going to school, I would show up late with like bags under my eyes and so I was like the worst student towards the end. And I was like, no, this is not for me anymore. So I did some homeschooling and then really focused on that. And then finding my own like style as well. I think like when you're playing covers, you're pulling like guitar solos and like Kylie Minogue songs and stuff like that. It's really interesting because it's like, you're just sort of molding a sound. And for me, that was like from I guess like maybe 14 to like 18, like for a good 4 years, maybe till 19.
Yeah.
And then working my butt off and learning how to like engineer and record at the same time and how to play every instrument like drums, piano. I started on piano, how to like produce
Wow, I
stuff.
didn't know you could do all that.
Yeah,
That's
so the
amazing.
so the first record I made, I played every instrument on, and that's how I got a record deal with Jimmy Iovine. So I just
Wow.
wrote all the songs, and Prince was a huge inspiration for me because he did everything. So I'm like, I want to learn how to do it all, and I locked myself away. It was like a good year. I'm a very frustrated like drummer and keyboard player as well, so I'm not like that great at it. But if you like dedicate a year to playing something every day, I was okay. I was like mediocre. I could get through a couple of a few songs, and record with it.
That's
And so
amazing. You got to post some videos of you doing that, playing some drums and stuff. I got to see that.
I have posted a couple, but my drumming skills are very bad as of late. So I have to spend some time on that. I'm not gonna, yeah, for entertainment purposes, sure. But yeah, I mean, the whole scene was honestly, I was really happy growing up in LA because it's like a small town.
Yeah.
And it was like everyone kind of knew each other. So it was such a vibe. And, my mum was cool with me like coming home at 3 a.m., or she would pick me up and sometimes. And, she was a real rock and roll mum, and my dad was supportive too. But yeah, it was pretty wild, but fun time for sure.
So I want to go back to something that you said because this is something that I feel very strongly about. You talked about developing your own style very early on. And I think that you are one of these guitar players that you can hear on the radio or you can hear on a song and you're like, that is Orianthi. Like you know that it's you without having the visual to go along with it. So how did you develop your unique perspective?
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you because you have your own style as well, which I love.
Thank you.
And it does take a while. I say just sit with your instrument, like sit with your guitar, like when you're playing, playing along when you're watching a TV show, whatever it is, and just or just spending hours working on even vibrato or notes and different things, and then trying different amplifiers out and different. I mean, I should say guitars, but really, I have been playing PRS since I was very young. Probably like God, I started playing PRS when I was like 11, so it's a long time.
Wow.
And I was pretty like bratty, I should say, back then, because I was like, I want a PRS guitar. And it's like when you're,
What was it that drew you to PRS?
it was Santana. When I went
Santana.
and saw Carlos Santana perform, he changed everything for me because I was studying classical. I went to tape when I
Mhm.
was like 10. So I was
Okay.
studying theory and all of that stuff, and I was like 10 years old. And
Oh, wow.
I had a really mean teacher. Like he was pretty awful actually. So he was just really
Yeah.
hard on me, and I don't respond well to that. Like some people like that. I don't. I like the
I don't
encouraging.
like it either.
No, I like the encouraging, like happy, upbeat sort of teachers are my favorite because it gives you enthusiasm to want to play. Not like it's not sports, I mean, it's like
No, it's playing. It's supposed to be fun.
yeah. And this guy was just like, I remember I worked so hard on this exam for I don't know some theory thing I was doing, and I think I got a credit or distinction, one of the two. I was really happy, and when I got in, he's like, "Oh, you failed," and I was like, I started crying. I was like so upset
Yeah.
because I'm just joking. You passed with like, and I was saying this dude was just like, oh, so I was like, oh my god, and my dad. I'm returning on like Band of Gypsies and Santana, and then Carlos is playing in Adelaide, in a couple next month, I think. We got to go, and I'm like, yeah, that'd be awesome. So I went there, saw him play, and he went into Europa. And when he hit those notes, I was like, man, like I don't want to play classical anymore. Like that, it was so beautiful that it just kind of transcended everybody in the audience. Everyone just felt something, and it moved everyone. And it was his tone because it was like his other voice. It was his voice, and it just really resonated with everybody and lifted everyone's mood. And the power of music, the power of sound, we're all energy, and we're all we feed off each other's energy. Someone's low vibe or high vibe. I just feel like having the right people around you is so important too, and everything, and having the right people in your band, and then the sound you create, and serving people. I mean, I think that's our job as guitar players and entertainers. Everything we do is to put on a show, is to take people away from reality, for them to enjoy themselves for that like 2 hour period, and that's what it's like I feel like that's kind of a duty, is sort of to serve people, inspire, because I just remember being in that crowd and watching Carlos and turning to my dad and going, man, I want to do that. Like, that just really changed everything for me. So, and getting messages from young kids that play that say, hey, you inspired me to pick up guitar, or maybe it's drums or singing or whatever it is, being creative, that means a lot, it really does, because it's,
Yeah.
yeah, I play guitar on my couch. Like I love playing. I don't just have to play for people. It's something that, I just love creating, and it's a meditation sometimes.
It is. I do find that it's like a flow state when you're practicing or you're performing or whatever it is, and you find yourself in that really perfect meditation of playing. Like I think there's no other feeling like it.
Yeah, it's truly wonderful. And even though my neighbors truly don't like me, sometimes because I crank up my amps and they're so loud, I'm going, okay, this is kind of obnoxious. But if I'm trying out different things, or I'm not really a pedal person that much, but I do like to decorate more these days than I used to. So I have like a bunch of stuff that my good friend and tech Takumi put together. And he used to work with
I
like
love
Quincy.
Takumi.
He's,
Shout
he's
out Takumi.
Takumi is the best. And he put
He's the best.
together a badass pedal board for me that works really well, and it has some really cool stuff on there. And so yeah, I like to decorate my solos a lot more now and put the delay on there, and so it kind of throws a bit more. Got the fuzz, got the octave, got the chorus, got
Oh
the
yeah.
flanger, it's the whole thing. But
Oh yeah.
I use a distortion from the amp. Like I'm very much just straight in. And then my wah pedal,
Okay.
I think my favorite pedal of all. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
We love the wah pedal. I like my guitar solos to sound like you're jumping into a pool, just like delay and reverb and just like resonance and
Yeah.
everything. So
It's
I'm
got
with you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like you want it to sound massive and to reach people, and that kind of big
Yeah.
sound. I'm a big Pink Floyd fan too. So I love like,
Oh yeah.
Gilmore
Big
solo.
delays.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
big reverb for me is just a glorious thing. It's a great invention.
Yeah. I saw a show the other day with a great guitar player who was doing these killer solos and but completely dry into the amp. And I was just like, oh God, I've got to go give them some feedback of like just put the littlest bit of delay on that and it will sound so much bigger and fuller. So I love that you're embracing that. And you have that on your new amp, right? The Oriverb.
The reverb, yes, that's why it's called reverb because there's so much
I love
reverb.
that.
And
So
I
much
was like,
spring.
growing up, like listening to my dad play, he would always love like the Shadows, and they had a lot of delay. It was like a surf band kind of vibe, and the Adventures, and
Yeah.
and then he used to have like Fender Twins and reverbs, and I remember even playing through a music band, all these different things, and I'm like, I don't even know, like there's just so much reverb
Wow.
going on, and I was like, and then I don't know, I just always loved it with my amps, and I went through different stages. Like I've had so many different amps I played through from like Mesa Boogie. I have like a whole I guess like graveyard full of them in Australia because I have my studio there full of stuff and here full of stuff and storage units. And I need to sort out stuff because, for now, I'm really stuck on my signature amp. And I've been in the studio with Eddie Kramer, and we've been, kind of like experimenting with different stuff because anything that like Eddie says, I'm going to, check out for sure. If he set up an amp for
Yeah.
me, I'm going, yeah, I'm plugging it together.
Yeah.
And so for this supergroup record that we just completed with Cindy Blackman Santana and Rhonda Smith, we just kind of went in there and cut everything pretty live, and that was really a cool experience. But predominantly, most of the solos are using the reverb and some dumbles in there and whatnot and all that stuff.
Wow.
But they don't leave the studio. It's like I'm too scared to even touch those amps. I mean, but yeah, I'm really proud of it. Took me like 2.5 years creating that amplifier with Pat Foley. And Pat
Wow.
fortunately passed away, which was really sad. He was a good friend of mine, and he actually worked with me when I was with Gibson Guitars about 15, 16 years ago.
Wow.
And he got me with the first acoustic. I was using a Songwriter back then for my whole pop record situation. And we went to radio stations, and then they reapproached me about doing a signature, acoustic. And then Pat went over to Orange, and then so it was this whole thing. And he's like, "You got to try out these amps," and I was like, "Absolutely!" And they just sounded awesome. So yeah, I feel very
Yeah.
honored to have that. Yeah.
I love that. That is so cool. So you mentioned your dad a minute ago. Is that who taught you how to play like your first chords, your first notes?
Yeah, my dad definitely, because he was always playing Hendrix and all these different records, and I was like Peter Green and Gary Moore and all that stuff, and BB King, and I would hear him play, and I was like, well, to hang out with him and sort of just bond with my dad. It's like I want to play guitar, and it looks so cool, but he's left-handed, so I learned left-handed
Ah,
first. I know, I
did you
learned
really?
yeah, because it's weird. I'm actually left-handed, so I write left-handed, but I write right-handed too. So it's like ambidextrous kind of thing.
Wow.
But I went to a Greek school, and it was really bizarre because they told me that writing with your left hand wasn't right. So I was like, okay. So I would get
Yeah.
detention. I'd get sent outside when I would write with my left hand. It was the most bizarre thing that ever. I don't know. I don't think it was to do with the Greek school. I think it had to do with the teacher. I think she was mental. But anyway,
Yeah.
I was like, whatever's going on. And so I just don't think because I was kind of a bit of a bratty kid, I must say. I was always sent outside. And so, yeah, so I learned how to write right hand. And now, yeah. And my dad was like, if you want more choice in guitars, I would learn right-handed. So, and he was right, completely right, because you go into a store and there's like 3 left-handed guitars in the corner that is kind
Yeah,
of
it's
dingy,
true.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I can play left-handed guitar a little bit, like chords and stuff like that, but not like not good. So,
Oh, I can't at all. I can't even a little bit. So
and it's
I
supposed to,
I applaud you for that.
it's like writing with your left hand, I think opens the right side of your brain. There's some kind of thing going on where it's like it opens that creative side of your brain. So it's good to sort of do that here and there. So I read that somewhere. Maybe it's a whole lot of,
Yes, I read the same thing that you're
okay.
supposed to brush your teeth with your left hand and stuff like that to like awaken the different sides of your brain, right?
Yeah. So I try to do that here and there, and I'll write my name, or do different things with my left hand, like write different things with my left hand. And people are like, why? I'm like, well, you know what? And then try to like play guitar. I have one guitar strung left-handed, which I
Oh, wow.
sometimes. And I don't know if it sort of helps, I guess, keep my brain alive and well.
Yeah.
So
Keep your brain guessing.
I don't know.
I love that. So you talked about Santana a little bit. I know you linked up with him very early on. So maybe speak a little bit about what that was like, and was there anything that he taught you in those early years that you took with you?
Yeah, Carlos has been such an inspiration. What an incredible human. I mean, he's like he's like my uncle, another father to me out here. And knowing him since I was like 11 years old, jamming with him when I was like 18 in Australia was wild. Because he invited me to sound check and we jammed backstage. And then he's like, you play my guitar, I play yours. And I always remember this. And he's like, we're going on stage now and you're going to join me. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh my God. And I was like 18. I just turned 18. I was super nervous. He didn't tell me what songs he was playing. None of that. And I was like, he said, just follow me on stage. We'll just plug you in. I'm going, okay, what are you starting with? Like, what's going
This
on?
is my worst
15,
nightmare, Ori.
like
I would
15,000
die.
15,000 people and I'm like on stage just like okay, what am I going to do? But thank God, like, okay, so I've learned all of his songs basically, like all the
Yeah.
Supernatural record, Abraxas, like, you know, um Sacred Fire, just everything. I could literally Freedom record, Z-Bop, like everything. And you know, between, you know, Carlos and Stevie Ray and Jimi Hendrix, I just study all those albums. So thank God he played a lot of the songs off the Sacred Fire live in Mexico video, which I recommend any guitar player to check out because it's truly like just so wonderful. His phrasing, his tone, the whole feeling of the concert, it's beautiful. And I don't know if you've checked it out. If
Yeah,
you've seen,
yeah.
yeah, it's just so wonderful. And um, that really inspired me big time. So that it was the same lineup as that concert that was on
Wow.
stage. So I was like, oh my God, looking around. It's the most surreal moment. I'll never forget that. And he kept me on stage for like 45 minutes and he turned to me to take the solos. And thank God I knew the songs because thank God.
That's
But I was
crazy. I was going to ask how long he kept you up there. So he kept you up there for half the show.
like 45 minutes. And I was like,
That's
he goes,
wild.
at the end, he's like, I really wanted to, throw you into the ocean, basically, see, what can happen there. And in the most like loving and caring way
Loving
and all that
way.
stuff.
Yeah.
But it was like, that's what music's about. It's about just, going with the flow, stepping up and really, I mean, Carlos did that for me and so did like Michael Jackson too, working with him. He was really tough
Yeah.
in a really loving way too on making sure everything was perfect and tireless hours on just perfecting everything and just you know having no fear. I think that's the biggest thing, and a lot of kids can have these days, especially with social media, and they're watching all these people post all the time on TikTok and Instagram. And I got to tell you, some of them are real, some of them are not real, because I've watched
Yeah.
quite a few and you go, yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah,
No.
questionable. But I think that they judge themselves so much. I'm like, don't judge yourself. If you love playing guitar, if you love singing, if you love, just do your thing. Like work hard at it, have fun. You live once, enjoy it. Because I think that the joy is infectious. You spread that. That's what life's about. And I think, as an entertainer, that's like, and as artists, I think that's our job too, is to spread that positivity and enthusiasm for, what we do, and just with our songs being really honest and the way that we play or be lyrically or whatever it is, to really connect with people in a big way. So
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. And actually, the last time that we hung out, we had, I think, the same conversation. We went and saw an amazing young guitar player, Anna Cara, playing with Crossbone
yeah.
Tilly and Tommy's band. And we were having this same conversation about how important it is not just to have an impeccable show, which she did. She had a note perfect show, but to just like let loose and be confident and let the audience come along with you on your journey. So how did you develop that? Like, how did you develop that sense of your stage persona and your confidence?
The first time I started singing when I was like 6 years old, I was completely obnoxious and very like out there as a kid. As a really young kid, I didn't even know, like my mother was like, oh my God, like I would literally even going to schools, I'd be like, I have to meet the headmaster in order to see if the school's right for me. And I'd be so bossy and just like ridiculous. I was embarrassed. And then, she'd be like, okay. And then I'm like, I'm hosting a show and, I'll be playing in the schoolyard and sent out flyers. I'm like 7 years old, you know. Oh, my friends were backup dancers. It was really
Hustle,
frustrating. It was
hustle from the
really
beginning.
I know. And then if I didn't have a guitar, I would make one out of milk cartons and I would still sing with a guitar made out of like, it was ridiculous. And I'm like, my mother would be like working, I think she worked at a dental surgery at that point, and she would have people coming in going, oh, your daughter was entertaining today in the courtyard with her milk cartons, the guitar. Like, or I would take my dad's like 125 Gibson or something vintage to school without telling him. And you know, and then his like Fender amp, and I would like blast it in the, you know, strumming and, you know, having my friends dance and sing as well. And then when I was a teenager, I got really shy, I guess, because I was bullied at school, like really bad when I was a teenager. So
Wow.
that's part of the reason why I left, not only because I just felt like it was getting a bit stale and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life, you know, and just the annoyance of the early mornings and all that stuff. So
I
but
did
like
the
yeah,
exact same thing, by the way. I dropped out at the exact same age for the exact same reason to do music full time. So I'm right there with you on your
oh,
journey.
great. I love that.
Yes.
That's awesome. I don't feel
Yeah.
alone. But yeah, so it was a crazy time, but just getting bullied and for doing music, for being like, you know, a young, you know, female guitar player in sort of a guy's field, you know, it's like being, I say
Yeah.
this a lot, it's like being a male ballerina, you know what I mean? It was like it was not the norm. And you kind of, and for me, I just loved it. And I love sports as well. So I was big into playing like basketball and baseball and soccer and tons of other things and tennis. But yeah, basketball for me was a real passion, but I wasn't getting any taller. And every time the ball would like impact my hands, it would be so much pain, you know what I mean? So I was going, I can't do this. And the other girls were much bigger than me. And I was like, no, but I won trophies. I was passionate about basketball for sure. So I'm a big sports fan. And I run every day. I'm into like, that's when I'm competitive. Like sports, I have to win. Like if I'm playing tennis,
Yeah.
you know, it's like if I lose, no. So
Game over. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so in school it was kind of weird, like having that balance and just having a lot of, you know, I was bullied by guys and girls. So it was kind of to a point where I was like, no, this is not good for my whole like self-worth and esteem and all that kind of stuff. So I was pretty shy actually. You know, that's when I started sort of singing in a cover band, I would, when we were rehearsing, I would face the other way. I'd be facing the wall because everyone was
Wow.
seeing me. And then I got my confidence back, but it was a sort of a rebuild because being super young and confident and almost borderline, well, obnoxious, and then losing that and then regaining that confidence again, that was, you know, built over time, but definitely playing in the cover band full of, you know, my friends, guys that were just really cool and yeah, it was fun times for sure.
So as your career grew and you grew and grew as an artist, what did you do to continue to learn? How did you continue to learn and improve on your instrument?
You know, I'm always learning, honestly. And I think that when I moved over from Australia to the US and got signed Interscope Records, and you know, you're put through this whole like pop big machine situation where you're like writing with like two or three different people every day. And I'm learning so much. But then, you know, going through that process too was really interesting because, you know, it makes you feel like you need people too, right, to write a song. So I kind of had to
Or
psychologically sort of figure it out, like, do I always need people to be okay and good enough, right? So I think going through that whole process with a major label and working with so many people was amazing, and having the opportunity was incredible. Having a multi platinum like single that did really well. I worked my butt off for that. I didn't sleep for like, you know, a good couple of years promoting that record. And going to every radio station, like shaking everybody's hand. And I was on tour with Justin Bieber at the time, you know, which was kind of
wow.
crazy. So when he was a young kid, he was like playing acoustic. I was, and it was just kind of wild, that, and Jason Derulo and Kesha and all these people, an awesome experience, but also like you kind of lose yourself a little bit too, you know, and then regaining my power back in a way where, you know, I stepped away from major labels, you know, kind of went on more like indie labels and whatnot. The record I made after getting out of the Interscope whole world and everything was with Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics, and we made a record in Nashville. And that was very bluesy rock, bit country. I don't even know. It's like people say it's like country metal. Something I don't even know what's going on. We had a good time. I was doing a commercial for Hyundai, car commercial, And I called Dave and I'm like, yo, I got this car commercial and they're paying me, quite a bit to do it. And he's like, awesome. I was like, let's make a record together. And he's like, I'd love to. So he was down there doing some stuff. And then I met with John McBride and Tina McBride. I went to Blackbird and we made this whole record together. It was called Heaven This Hell. We had so much fun. And it was literally like a week and a bit of drinking martinis, writing songs, recording, and just having a blast. So that record was a lot of fun to make. And then that sort of sent me back to my roots, which was more blues based. Because a lot of people are like, why are you going blues rock now? Like you were pop. And I'm like, no, I was always like blues rock to begin with. But
Yeah.
I sort of incorporated that. And if people listen to the full Believe record, there's blues on there, there's rock on there, there's a bit of country. It's not just like According to You was like a pop song with a 80s guitar solo in it,
Yeah.
And
No,
I did
but you
that.
still, even in According to You, you still had that sort of signature Ori tone that's, your note choices, your vibratos, like your licks. Like to me, and I just heard that song again because I feel it's coming back on TikTok now, right? Isn't According to You like having a TikTok
Yes,
moment?
it
So like
is.
I just heard it again and I was like, what is happening? And like
I
I
don't
hadn't
know.
heard it since it came out, years. And like it still sounds like you, even though you've
Oh,
obviously grown and evolved so much as a player since then, it has that signature sound.
thank you. Yeah, that was an interesting time recording that song because I was like, I'm putting a tapping guitar solo in here, and it's going to be like, throughout like the entire song. And people are like, I don't think they're going to play that on the radio. I'm like, it's different. They will because it's different, and I want to inspire more people to play guitar, and young kids and girls and guys, and they're like, okay. So I put down the solo, and then everyone agreed, let's put it out. And it was at first, people thought it was kind of a gimmick or whatever, but then it was like when they saw my live show, it was like, no, this is, it was really guitar based, but it was so commercial, and it was just different than what was going on at the time. And working with Howard Benson was great, and that whole team. But
Love
yeah, it
Howard.
was just honestly, yeah, it's just seriously like a wild time for me. That whole sort of era. But like, yeah, I think just finding your tone, finding your space, and then me going back to what I started playing when I was a young kid, which was a blues rock, and I love country music too. So my new record, which is coming out tomorrow, actually, so it's that's pretty live kind of sounding record. I made it with Kevin Shirley, who's a good friend of mine, and he's an incredible producer, and he just sets a good vibe. And I wanted to make a record like I've just made with my band at Robbie Krieger's studio because I love Robbie. He's like family, and just having this relaxed vibe of just going in and cutting a song like 3 times and picking the best take, and then not using auto tune in the vocals, making it very raw sounding. So it's kind of different, it's not overthought. The guitar solos aren't too premeditated. I mean, they're structured, but it's not like, it's
Yeah.
more like a vibe with this. And that's why it's called Some Kind of Feeling. You're just going on a feeling with each song. And I just thought that it'd be really great to do something with so much freedom. And Woodward Avenue Records, Mark Norden over there, he literally let me just do whatever I wanted to do. So that was really cool. And I produced 4 songs, I think, off this record, and then Kevin did the rest.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's been fun to do. So I hope people dig it. It's out right now in Japan. See what people seem to be liking it in there over there, which is great. And then it's out on Friday here in the US. So yeah.
That is so exciting. Oh my gosh, we're doing this at
Yeah.
the perfect
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. Well, we talked just briefly about, the TikToks, the, social media, all these pressures. I feel like there's so many challenges that musicians face in the modern world that like, I feel like you and I had our own set of challenges. And now on top of those challenges that young people face, there's all of these other challenges and this pressure to look a certain way, play a certain way, auto tune, lip sync, guitar sync, whatever it is.
Fantastic. I know
So
what's going on right
yeah,
now.
I know. I like, I wish we could have pulled that off, back in the
There's
day.
so many.
Milli Vanilli lost their Grammy and now everybody's doing it.
Oh my God, I know. And the amount that are on TikTok where I just go, is this really playing? Like when I play on my Instagram, I'm just like freaking half asleep in my pajamas, freaking sometimes I'm headless because I've put a face mask on. I'm just like, I'm just inspired to play something that hopefully will inspire other people to play. Pick
Yes.
up their guitars at night or whatever it is, and I just post random stuff. There's an amplifier in my living room, and there's an iPhone, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's like,
Just going for it.
yeah,
So, what do
yeah.
you think that this next generation needs in order to tackle that kind of challenge of having that like super, super high perfectionist bar?
Social media is incredible because you get to connect with people personally. It's a wonderful thing. But it's also bad for like comparison, situations like for young kids, just overly like judge themselves and not want to put themselves out there because they think they're not good enough. Everyone's good enough, if you work really hard at what you do and your best is, your best that day, it's going to change every day. And fear is like the worst thing. And the things you tell yourself, your thoughts are so powerful. And I think that that's one thing that I've learned over the years of seeing with all my like spiritual healers and all that stuff. And I'm really into that. I'm into energy. I'm into thoughts. And I mean, when a swimmer goes into, the Olympics and they got to have their mind set right. They have their headphones on,
Yes.
everything's a certain way. As performers, as creators, we've got to fill our heads with like positive thoughts and encourage yourself sometimes because relying on other people is not so good. I've learned that. And I think that, everyone's going through their own battles, everyone's going through their own things in life. And as a kid, I always used to rely on my happiness from other people and other things. But then, if someone's in a bad mood, you take that personally. If someone's in a good mood, take it personally. It's like, no, it's like everything can be crazy around you, a storm around you. If you stay calm and that's the most that I've learned a lot about just your own thoughts and your own happiness and preserving. That's why sometimes I used to go out a lot and be super social. And now I spend a lot more time, around just certain people, just selected people. That
Yeah.
way, you're in the right energy field to be yourself, to grow, to feel the love and to give love and to not be too spread out. And, there's a lot of negativity in the world and a lot of, divide, a lot of people that, are angry and all that kind of stuff. But I think that we can change that. It's always just the power of your thoughts, it's the power of your mind, it's the power of what you decide to do and your intentions and making sure your intentions are clear. Because I think if you have that clear message to the universe, it usually responds. I think some people don't know, oh, I'm not sure why this is not happening or whatever. It's like, but if you don't have that clear message, then how's anything supposed to happen? So you set your intention and take inspired action as well. And I think that that's manifesting and anything you really want to do. And it's not like ego. It's just like, you can do anything you want to do. You know what I mean? It's like, you really can.
Yes. I
And I
couldn't
think
agree with you more on that, by the way. I'm so on the same page with you. It's not even funny. Like, I think it's so important to really put out there that, like, not just your abundance and everything in your personal life, but you can manifest in your professional life. You can manifest great shows and great audiences and great performances, but you can't do it if you're going out there going, oh, I hope I don't make any mistakes. I hope I don't hit a wrong note. I hope they like me. You have to manifest that abundance mentality in your performance and your playing as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And if you envision a show going really great and you just go out there with like a fireball of just like good energy and you just want to go out and entertain people and not think about anything too much. Because when you overthink, I think you destroy everything in a way. Like sometimes amps will blow up, guitar strings will break. I remember my bass player ages ago got her headstock stuck in my hair extension.
Oh,
She was only when they had to separate us, but it was like an entire song and a half, and weird stuff was happening. And the front row were like looking like it was entertainment. They were laughing, like, what's going to happen here? But I just was like,
you're laughing at my pain.
I was like, this is part of the show, everybody. It's rock and roll. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've had many things, especially like even touring with Alice. That was wild, from the pythons to the swords and the confetti cannons. And I remember I used to jump around and you jump around a lot, you do a lot of that stuff. So you know what it's like. I was jumping in front of a confetti cannon, not knowing
Oh,
it was there. And like literally 5 seconds before it was about to blow out to the crowd, that would have been a really weird accident. So you know, I got like my butt in front of the confetti cannon, like just playing away. One of the techs comes over and like pushes me out of the way, and then it just goes off. I'm like, oh my god! And
did Brian save you? Brian Satia, our
I
tech?
think it was Brian. Yes, I think it was Brian. He
Yeah.
like grabbed me. He was like, uh,
Just
crushed
tackle
me.
you to the floor. He's
Yeah.
Brian and I have had some moments on stage left because Brian, of course, was your tech before mine, and he definitely like he is a saint on stage left. The
He's
amount
so
of times that he has just like saved my ass in more ways, just like handing me gaff tape.
Oh my
Like,
God. I
yeah,
mean,
he's the
I
best.
he is honestly he's so great, and his vibe is so great too. Like he'd be always laughing backstage and just in between things when like you have a little station there, and I'm like
Yes,
putting more
exactly.
blood on because the blood's come off, or teasing my
Oh
hair.
yeah.
I think my hair was so big at one point. Alice was like, "Your hair is scaring me." I'm like,
I loved
okay.
your Alice look. I loved the like the hat and the lace and the blood and like I thought your Alice look was so cool.
Yeah, thank you. When I remember, like, there was just a lot of time sometimes before a show where you're sitting in your dressing room, you get kind of a bit bored for me.
Yeah.
So I would just keep on teasing my hair and adding more blood and adding more things. I'd write on my arm. And then, some people thought that I was like some devil worshiper or something, and I was not. I was like just getting into character. I'm like going, it was just like,
Totally.
and I remember Alice taking me aside one time because I had these pants that some stylist gave me. Did not know what they were. These leggings looked cool, whatever. It had gargoyles on them. And well, they did have upside down crosses. I didn't know what was going on with that. So I remember Alice like taking me to a room going, my followers like Christian and some of them, and like, you like into like he actually thought that I was like into devil worship. I was like, no, I
Are
just
you
wearing
devil worshipping?
just wearing these pants I've given to me. I'm just so like oblivious of stuff. Like if people hand me things, I'm like, cool, they look cool. I don't think too much. But now I'm aware. I have to be aware of everything. So yeah, but that was awesome time, and you're killing it out there with Alice, honestly. And I
Thanks.
think that fit with you guys together because you bring so much like such a show person, and you bring so much with your playing and everything to the entire thing. So yes, it's awesome. I love watching it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we would be remiss if we didn't talk about one thing, and that is the challenges that we face in this industry, not necessarily as women, if that's where you feel where it takes you, but what are some challenges that you have faced in your career, and what did you learn going through those challenges?
Gosh, the challenges have always been, I'm very trusting, and especially coming over here, like I believe people like when they say something and like, just go, yeah, that's great, that's great. And then I just dive right in, and whether it be with, managers or different situations in my life or whatnot, I would just go all in and then find out that you know, everything was completely wrong and it was messed up. And so I think that that's one of the things that I've learned kind of like really hard ways. Now I have like a great attorney. I have great people around me. It was
That's
really,
number one. I think the most important thing is a great attorney.
and I say that to everybody before a manager, before an agent, before anybody, get yourself a great attorney
Okay.
who can run over everything for you and explain everything to you so you know exactly where your money is going, how much you're going to make through this, what the terms are, all of that, and make sure that you don't get stuck, because I think that a lot of people like overpromise and underdeliver a lot, business people in this industry, and I don't trust as much anymore. I like to make my own decisions. I manage myself, and I have a
Oh, do you
wonderful team
manage
of,
yourself now?
yeah, for the past couple of years. And honestly,
Wow.
that's why I don't really sleep that much. I'm always doing, emails and different things and meetings and all that kind of stuff. But I've learned so much that, sure, if the right person comes along, maybe an assistant, they can come in and take over who know
Yes.
me really well. But like having somebody sort of tell me what to do doesn't, and I'm paying them, doesn't really make sense. Like
Yeah.
unless they come up with brilliant ideas, and there's so many great managers out there. There really is. I mean, Shep, for an example, he's awesome.
Amazing.
You know,
Yes.
there's just so many great ones like Irving Azoff. There's so many great people that come in that just know what they're doing. You get along with them, absolutely. And I ask, for advice. Sometimes I'll call Shep or, Irving or whoever it is, who I really respect. And they just
Mhm.
give you good advice. And that's what I really need sometimes. And obviously having, just as I say, as you said too, having a great attorney is like the main thing. So, now I know where all my money's going, what I'm doing, everything is just like, laid out in front of me. And being a kid and signed so young, you never sort of grow up in a lot of ways. Like the way I live is not normal. I have like 50 guitars in my living room with like crystals, and there's like trees, and it's like a jungle. It's like a freaking crazy jungle in here. But
That
yeah,
sounds amazing.
yeah. And I have, my exotic fish, and I want to get a big tank full of, I was going to get a baby shark the other day, but like And these two massive fish in this tank. It was like 6 foot, but I was like, I don't know. Then I was like, you know what? Then I have to take care of them. And I thought it was like a 24-hour.
And you're leaving for tour.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought it would be cool for my cat because then she would have like entertainment when I'm gone. Like she would have these like massive
sure.
fish she could stare at. Yeah.
So, Ori, what would you say is your proudest moment or some of your proudest moments in your career?
Proudest moment. Oh my gosh.
Or moments, because it's impossible to pick one, but moments.
I would say like when I was talking about when I got up on stage with Santana, I was like 18 years old, and I was able to not freak out and pass out on stage, or you know what I mean, and carry through 45 minutes. That was definitely an awesome experience. So like 15,000 people, hometown crowd, Carlos Santana, his band, sitting in with him. That was really a moment. And then playing the Grammy Awards with Carrie Underwood, that was really cool. And watching the Grammys so many times, and then, my pajamas on my couch going, one day I'm going to play at the Grammys. And then, Keith Urban introducing us, and we just went into Last Name, and that was really cool. And Carrie's a dear friend of mine. She's awesome. And then, yeah, I've got to say, a lot of different moments, but like, and then obviously working with Michael Jackson for sure. That was just
Yeah.
life changing.
You've done so many cool things. Like, when I was looking up stuff to make my little introduction today, I was like, oh yeah, and the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Oh yeah, and the Raiders game. Oh yeah, and the Grammys. Like, how do you how do you go from gig to gig to gig, and like what do you take with you to retain your personality throughout all of these different styles of music and different scenarios?
Honestly, yeah, I'm just myself. Like I just show up with my guitar and just do the best I can in those different environments. And definitely doing a fashion show was totally different. And being around there was just amazing people. Like the vibe was great. I didn't know what it was going to be like, and everyone was so sweet, like so lovely. And yeah, the rehearsals were intense. And the cameras
Was it
and
really?
the wings. The wings were the toughest part because I didn't want to get like bowled over by wings. Because I was like trying to,
Yeah.
and I had a blast doing it. I truly did. And Kate Moss was super sweet. She came in my dressing room, we're hanging out beforehand, and Cher was there, and Bella Hadid. So many people that were just like, just wonderful, like beautiful, like wonderful people, like just a good vibes. There was no weirdness, and it was an honor to be a part of it since I was coming back and doing that show and doing Rock in Rio not too long ago with Carol G too, and opening that. That was wild. And Carol's a
I love Rock in Rio. Rock in
yeah,
Rio is my favorite. I did it with Alice and then again with Demi, and
yes,
just like the coolest. And correct me if I'm wrong, the pop night is dope, right? At Rock in Rio. Like I had
so
so much
cool.
fun with Demi, like on even though we did our rock show, like we opened up for Justin Bieber on the pop night of Rock in Rio. And the energy, I was like, how is it going to be compared to being on the rock nights with like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest? And I was just like blown away by the amazing energy and response of the pop fans. Was that your experience with Carol G?
Oh my gosh, yes, it was insane. It truly was. And the pyro and just the energy, and everyone's going crazy. And then I just love the whole show. I love doing that stuff and just guesting with different people, and it's a different vibe and it's cool and it was just fun. And yeah, when you feel that sort of excitement when you're on the stage, there's nothing like it. It's like this drug, but it's like really awesome like high that you get from like people having a good time, and then they just want to have it, watch a cool show, and we all just sort of had this great synergy together, her whole band. And Carol's like, she's such a positive person, and her new documentary on Netflix is really cool. So people should check that out. It's really great.
So the sessions talks a lot about kindness, compassion, and fairness, which is something that obviously you and I both try to embody in our persona. How can we manifest more of those things in the music industry?
I think just by being kind and by spreading it, like, what we're doing, and just everyone that I meet, like, you just try to like, if they're fans, they come to your show, like you inspire them, you like sweet to them, especially young kids, musicians around that you meet and everything. It's like just having that upbeat vibe. I mean, I'm a happy person by nature. If I'm around like depressing people, I get very annoyed by them. I'm like, just go away and fix yourself and then come back. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't serve them well. It doesn't serve people around well either. So I think if ever I'm in a mood because I'm overwhelmed or something, I'm like a cat. I'll disappear and then come back once I'm fixed and happy. And then I want to be around people and that's just how I am. I've just learned to do that because no one else is going to fix you. You got to do that yourself. So fix your energy. I think, working, and I work on myself every day, with different healers and reading a lot and meditations, setting intentions, and putting yourself first is not being selfish. It's actually putting your oxygen mask on first. So making sure that you're taking care, like self-care, making sure that you're good, you're eating well. Like I like to exercise. You and I both, where we love, are working out. So yeah, like working out for me, I run 6 miles a day, which is crazy to most. Yesterday I actually walked 10 miles. So that was crazy. But, I like to
I love
balance
to
it
walk.
out.
I walk a lot too.
Yeah, walking is really a meditation. And then getting into some strength training. But for me, like I'm more a cardio person because I like the high from it. So.
Okay, so and then lastly, any closing thoughts for the next generation to learn from and be inspired to follow their passion?
Just never give up. If you believe in something, if you're a guitar player, you're a drummer, you're a singer, whatever you're doing, just have utmost belief in yourself, be your biggest cheerleader, and just let go of fear because that holds you back completely, and just create. I think the world needs more of that positivity and just music, and I think that's something that brings people together.
Amen to that. I'm Nita Strauss. I've been here with Orianthi on behalf of the sessions. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Now I'm Famularo here, the Sessions panel. This is so exciting. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Click the subscribe button to be a part of what we're doing. The views help us tremendously. All of your comments, we read them and react to them. This is incredible. The support you're giving us is great. The Sessions panel. We'll see you real soon.